The nights feel longer when stress moves into the house. It sits at the kitchen table with the unpaid bills and the unanswered texts, and it whispers worst-case stories. In moments like these, what you're really trying to protect is intimacy during stress, the fragile thread between two people that says, "We're still us." If you've ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., listening to a partner's uneven breaths, you know how loud the quiet can be. Here at Whispered Hearts, English, we sit with couples in those quiet hours. We honor the heavy seasons and the good hearts doing their best inside them. Tonight, let's build a steady rhythm you can carry into your own living room, even if life is noisy. Think of this as a warm porch light that stays on while you find the door. Before anything changes on the outside, something gentler begins inside the day. Picture the first 5 minutes after you both walk through the door, the commute still buzzing in your bones. That tiny window can either close or open the evening. What happens if you defend it like it matters? The simplest move is a mini connection ritual that always happens, even when dinner is late and the dog needs walking. A hand on the shoulder, a 20-second hug that lets bodies catch up to hearts. A soft, "I'm glad you're home," before any logistics. What would your version look like if you made it small enough to survive the busiest day? When stress stacks up, our attention narrows. We scan for what's missing and miss what's good. Mini rituals widen the lens just enough to notice your person again. They create emotional closeness under pressure by proving you can still choose each other in tiny ways when nothing else is easy. But there's a deeper current that keeps love steady when plans fall apart. Words turn into shelter, or they turn into weather. When you're tired, default words get sharp and short, even if you don't mean them. What if you chose one sentence that steadies the room? Therapists often encourage specific appreciation because it cuts through stress fog. "Thanks for calling your mum, even though it's hard. I noticed you paid the co-pay before I asked. It mattered when you stayed on hold for 40 minutes, so I didn't have to." These micro-praises turn you and me into we, and we is how partners beat long seasons. Here's the quiet miracle. Affirmation works even when the problem is still the problem. The bill is still due. The doctor still hasn't called back. Yet the house feels a degree warmer because you named effort, not just outcomes. Have you tried praising one effort today that cost your partner energy? There's a question that turns the lights back on. What would happen if your next tough evening started with a single sentence of gratitude before any to-do? Would it change the room enough to talk without bracing? Could a 10-second sentence become your most reliable tool? But the body keeps a ledger of stress long after the conversation ends. Touch rewrites the ledger in a language older than words. When physical intimacy feels far away, creative affection steps in to bridge the distance without pressure. Think of it as physical connection in tough times, on your terms. You can stack non-sexual touch throughout the day, so your nervous systems remember safety. Hands under warm water together for a minute after dishes. A slow sway in the kitchen while the pasta boils. Feet touching under a blanket during a show you've both seen before. Which of these would feel easy to try tonight? Stress often steals spontaneity, so you replace it with intentionality. Put a 5-minute cuddle timer on your phone right before bed and let it be sacred. Try a Saturday morning back-of-the-neck massage while coffee drips. Say, "I want closeness without expectations," and mean it. How would your body change if affection returned without a scoreboard? Even with care, friction happens. Long seasons make patience thin and tone brittle. When a sharp moment lands, Your next move either deepens the cut or starts the repair. This is where couples prove their resilience. Begin by naming safety before content. I'm on your side and I'm overwhelmed. Take a 20-minute cool down, not to retreat, but to return regulated. Come back with one piece of ownership. I raised my voice. I'm sorry. Then add a specific action. Next time I'll ask for a break before I snap. What would a safer version of that sound like in your voice? Repair doesn't erase the argument. It preserves the bond. You're not skipping accountability. You're creating a path back to each other that you can find in the dark. The more predictable the path, the faster you both calm. When did a repair attempt last? Change the ending of your evening. But love also lives in calendars and car rides and lunch breaks. Stress is practical, so closeness must be practical too. Couples who endure long stretches of pressure design their week like a team, not rivals for the last ounce of energy. Try a 15-minute logistics huddle on Sunday nights. Lights low, phones away. 2 questions. What's heavy this week? And where can we lighten it by 10%? Then protect a 30-minute connection window. No chores, no admin, just presence. Where would that window fit most easily in your week? Once you stabilize schedules, you can remember the identity you're guarding. You're not just bill payers and appointment makers. You're 2 people who chose each other and are choosing again. Against the current, you keep the we story alive. Tell that story out loud. We've done hard things before, and we stayed kind. We're a team taking turns carrying the pack. This is a chapter. It's not the whole book. What sentence could you borrow tonight to narrate your resilience during challenges? But closeness also needs a place, not just a plan. Create a small sanctuary you can reach without leaving home. Dim a lamp. Put on a song that belonged to another season of your life. Wrap a soft, familiar blanket across both laps and breathe for a minute in unison. On winter nights, let the room be quiet enough to hear the heat tick through the vents while steam rises from mint tea. In summer, walk the block at dusk after the sprinklers stop, cicadas stitching the air. Sensory rituals anchor the nervous system when words get tired. Which simple scene feels like a safe corner in your home? As seasons turn, your rituals can turn with them. In autumn, a shared morning on the porch with the smell of wet leaves can reset the day before emails start. In spring, a slow stroll through a neighborhood park after rain can rinse the mood. The point isn't the activity. It's the repeatable feeling of arriving in the same moment together. When the world gets heavier, let other hands hold a piece. Ask a friend for an hour of childcare, or a sibling to sit with a parent through an appointment. Say yes when a neighbor offers a casserole, even if pride wants to say no. Love breathes when community widens the circle. If help is hard to accept, try this reframe. Allowing support is a gift to the people who care about you. It lets them convert their worry into action. Which single task could you delegate this week, even if it feels small? Your mind needs tending as much as your calendar. Stress writes scary scripts. You counter with kinder ones. A 2-sentence practice can shift the day's chemistry. This is hard. We can do hard things without turning against each other. Stack micro-regulation where it hides best. 3 slow breaths in the driveway before you step inside. A shoulder roll at the red light. The palm-to-chest press that says, I'm safe right now. What 5-second reset would you actually remember to use? But hope is not fragile when you feed it. Give yourselves a glimpse of later. Name one small thing you're looking forward to after this chapter. A picnic in a city park, a long weekend with no appointments, a new tradition you haven't invented yet. Dream in specifics without forcing a deadline. When the tests are done, we'll drive the coast road and stop wherever the water looks kind. Then build tiny previews into the week. A playlist for the trip, a recipe you'll cook there, a map you unfold at the kitchen table. What future moment could you plan for, even with a pencil? In the middle of all this, remember you're not alone here. Whispered Hearts. English is a quiet corner where couples breathe, reflect, and practice gentleness that lasts. You belong to a community of people learning how to maintain love in stress without pretending it's easy. Sometimes the bravest thing you do is stay soft. There's a subtle truth about intimacy that hides in plain sight. The opposite of disconnection isn't constant passion, it's reliable warmth. It's your hand finding mine during the commercial. It's the text that says, "Thinking of you," with no ask attached. When did a small, warm thing last change your day? And still, life will throw days that ask too much. On those days, lower the bar to something you can step over without tripping. 2 minutes of shared stillness. 1 sentence of honest kindness. 1 touch that says, "Same team," without needing any more from either of you. On a difficult morning, imagine setting a kettle on the stove and letting the whistle be your cue to pause together. Say, "How's your heart?" Then really listen, not to fix, but to witness. Listening is the closeness that doesn't require solutions. When conflict returns, borrow the language that keeps the bridge intact. Start soft. Own your peace. Ask for what you want in concrete terms that time can hold. Can we sit at the table for 10 minutes after dinner with no phones? Could you hold me without talking for a bit? What ask would make tonight easier to love? Keep an artifact of togetherness where you can see it. A photo from a fun day taped inside the pantry door. A note tucked into the console of the car for hard commutes. A playlist titled "Team Us" for hospital waiting rooms and long lines. These small things remind you that even in a long chapter, your story has many good pages. When care duties feel endless, remember to rotate kindness. If one of you can't meet in the middle, the other can move closer without keeping score. And the next day, you trade places. Fair doesn't always mean equal in a single week. It means balanced over time, with grace for the dips. On spring mornings, crack a window and let the scent of rain pass through the room while you make oatmeal side by side. On a bright fall afternoon, rake leaves together and let the rhythm work out your breath. Body tasks done together become wordless conversation. Which task could you turn into a shared ritual this season? There's a reason couples under strain crave simple meals and predictable shows. Decision fatigue is real. Reduce choices where you can so there's more bandwidth left for each other. A rotation of easy dinners, a short list of go-to walks, less friction, more presence. At the heart of surviving long-term pressure is a promise you make and keep in small pieces. I won't make stress the third person in our conversations. I won't let fear choose my tone. I'll return to you, even if I need a minute first. If you both made that promise tonight, how would it change the feel of the week? And when the day has gone as far as it can, settle into the kindness of endings. A shared wash-the-day-off routine. Lights down, voices low, gratitude named out loud, even if it's tiny. Thank you for taking out the trash. Thank you for calling the insurance company. Thank you for staying with me. If you're caring for aging parents, recovering from illness, or rebuilding after a financial hit, you're doing sacred work. It's okay to move slow. It's okay to divide strength between you and rest when you can. Your love is not measured by productivity. It's measured by the warmth you keep between you while you walk through this. So tonight, defend the first 5 minutes you share. Speak one true praise. Add a gentle touch that expects nothing. Ask for repair when you need it, and offer it when you can. Build a week that lets you stay human together. You might be in a chapter that looks nothing like your highlight reels, but the work you're doing now may become the story you love to tell later. You learned how to hold hands in a storm, and how to laugh again on a Tuesday. You learned how to keep the porch light on. What matters most is the thread you keep tying, even when it pulls. That thread is chosen, not found. It's strengthened daily by small rituals, by soft words, by a body that remembers safety. It's how couples across the country quietly practice intimacy during stress and come out stronger than they went in.